Good evening and welcome everyone here to GTRC WTCC Season 11, Round 8, the penultimate round here at Suzuka in Japan. After 2 weeks on Pine's channel, who is alongside with me. Hello, Pine.
Evening, mate. Good to have you back.
We're back on the usual GTRC channel. Hopefully most of the microphone issues are fixed. And we finally have back a brilliant title fight for the Drivers' Championship. In the last 2 rounds, Joe Witt and the Peugeot struggled a bit, and Will Sutters came closer and closer, and I think the gap is down to 13 points, what is quite nothing considering that there's still 100 points to earn in this season.
Yeah, just 15 points split in the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship. In the Constructors, it's a different story.
Yeah, this should be
67 points between the two, somewhere along there.
I mean, there's more points to gain, but we're gonna see. We might have a pre-decision today in the Constructors.
And also something that wasn't really credited. I think Tyler Davison is confirmed Tom Coronel Trophy winner. Or after today, depending on how many points Van Hart scores, he'll be confirmed Tom Coronel Trophy winner.
Yes, definitely. I mean, when he was there, he absolutely dominated the Tom Coronel Trophy. And yeah, looking at his results and Stein Van Hart, I think Stein had 1 or 2 more rounds, and Stein had a really good season so far, but still nothing against Tyler Davison.
Well, it's Tyler Davison's Tyler Davison. It's hard to beat him.
Definitely. And this might be a track that should fit him, and it might also be again a track that is maybe not the best for the Peugeot. I mean, you're a bit closer to the Peugeot guys. What was your impression?
So pre-season, when I was doing the testing with Gabinski, he very much rated the Peugeot. He said the Peugeot is very good around here. Chatting to Stein and Landstadler, on the other hand, they're struggling a little bit. So maybe it was a bit more driver preference on one hand, but we'll see. I think the big one to watch is Joe Witt, obviously leading the championship in that car.
Yeah, it's, I think it's a bit. You wouldn't also say that the Lexus is a car that should be good around here, as it's quite heavy and not the best in the corners. But if you're a driver that likes Suzuka, and I think Suzuka is not a track where I think you could ask every driver and it's love it or hate it. I think there's nothing in between. And yeah, I think there is like the straight, the back straight 130R, and also the main straight could be good for the Peugeot, but the snaky, the S's might be a bit.
I'm not really sure who it would play into, to be honest. Maybe the Scirocco.
Yeah, Scirocco has good top speed. Also, I think the Swift, I mean, also benefited by the driver, but if you are quick enough in the cornery section, so especially sector 2, you might get a big enough gap to not get eaten alive on the back straight down to the 130R.
If I'm honest, this circuit's just a very well-balanced circuit. If you compare it to the other circuits that we've had on the calendar so far, it's probably the most balanced. And there's an obvious reason for that. This track was designed as a Honda test track originally, which is why, for me personally, I think it is the perfect racetrack if I forget about the existence of the Nordschleife. It's a very, very good track.
Yeah, I like that. I'm just shit out driving it.
Yeah, same.
I think I just don't like the first sector, but it's for me most of the Japanese tracks who have that one weird sector. Autopolis made it great with having the short layout, eliminating the annoying third sector. Fuji has the annoying third sector. And on Suzuka, it is sector 1 for me. That is... It's just...
It's a bit dull.
To be honest, it's a skill issue, because I'm always struggling to get a good flow through the S's, and I think this is the key to be fast in the S's, to have a good flow, know where to lift, where to coast, not braking and accelerating too much. And if you are used to it, I think this is it's definitely a driver's track. I think if you're good at Suzuka and you are at least a bit comfortable with your car, you have good chances here. I think even if...
I will say though, this track always, every time I've raced here in any game, it is very, very difficult on pad. So anyone who's on wheel is going to have a very fun time here, but also through those S's, their arms are going to be killing after a couple of laps.
Oh, now I have an excuse.
Yeah, that's always been my excuse. I'm on pad, that's why I'm slow.
Same. Currently seeing Stein van Hart, the quickest in the free practice.
I'm really not too sure where lap times will be, if I'm honest. I've seen a couple 2.8s, a couple 2.7s. Might be able to see a 2:06, but really don't know what to look out for.
I mean, the first benchmarks we should get on the first flying lap. Because in the past we always saw that the improvement from the free practice to the qualifying session is quite big. I think what's really important around here.
You talk.
What really is important around here, especially in the qualifying, is to leave a gap. I think we have quite a full grid again. I think we're currently 11 cars. Not sure if Ruben will make it, but I think Tyler should be here. Yeah, it is really important because it's a long track and you don't have that much flying laps. Not like Brands Hatch or something. It is really important to have clean air, because I think GR4s are really difficult to drive also in the dirty air, especially in the S's or in the both Dagners. It's really easy to get a bit wide when you are too close to another car. Of course, on the back straight 130R, slipstream isn't the worst you can have, but in a perfect way, you have a big enough gap to have clean air in sector 1 and sector 2, and having then slipstream on the back straight, not getting distracted in the chicane. But this is something that I would consider as perfect lap, while Will Sutters now is the quickest guy in the free practice session, like expected. He's definitely a Suzuka tryhard, and something that really shocked me.
At the moment.
Yeah, something that really shocked me is that he was actually practicing. Thought there was something like a code of honor that GTRC is not a practice season.
But also another thing I want to point out for qualifying, it's as of the nature is for every race so far this season, you need to watch out for the drivers in completely different cars to you, because the rear-wheel drive line and the front-wheel drive line are so different around the circuit.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very easy to get caught up.
I mean, the weight difference, I mean, we have just probably one Suzuki here, but the weight difference is, I think, bigger than in every other class we have in GT7, with a car lower than 900 kilogram and a car with 1,400 kilogram.
Is that the Lexus by any chance?
I'm not sure. I think the Lexus is the heaviest on BOP. Not really used to the latest changes, but it was always close with the BMW, so the rear-wheel drives were by nature a bit heavier.
You'd think they'd also have a lot more power, but they do not.
Yeah. just watch at the BMW. Yeah, I don't know. It's somehow weird. I mean, when we're looking back, there was a time when the BMW was actually a competitive car if you know how to shift it.
Better days.
But now you can do whatever you want, and it's a bit like the Megane when we started last season with it, and Will Sutters improved again. A very big gap here to Clark and also Van Hart. So this guy is taking the stuff really serious. I mean, yeah, it's for now
you have to when you know, fight for the championship.
Yes, and it is for now the last option for him to get the championship title. I mean, we all don't know what the future will bring, but currently, I think season 12 isn't really planned.
Yeah, I don't think GTRC is going to go as a whole, because
no, definitely not.
I mean, this is coming from someone that was around with what was GTRC, I say in quotes because it wasn't called that back then, but I mean 2019 was when I first started out with these guys. It was originally me, Will, and another German guy, which is ironic. It wasn't you, it was a different German guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, and we stopped after that, and then about a year later it came back. So I think GTRC will come back with some kind of full-time season in the future.
Definitely. I think the problem is not that. I think the community is great. You would also fill a next season's grid. That's for sure.
It's just the format's getting old.
Yeah, the format's getting old. It is really hard. I mean, in the last couple of seasons, especially on GT7, how many cars were tested to make it fit to the WTCC spirit, but not being OP after. I mean, we started with four-wheel drives, and who were car-wise, so the Lancer and also the Subaru, they were all quite fitting very well into the shape of a touring car.
You don't need to talk about the pace of the Subaru, though. That was insanely fast, that car.
Yes, and that was unfortunately one thing that really changed with GT7, when you not really had the chance to balance these cars, because they were slightly OP. You had the new option with the dynamic weather, what would also benefit those cars. So I mean, we had the first 2 seasons, we had no wet race, because on every test the four-wheel drives were at least 2 seconds faster than everything else, and that's just weird.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day I'm happy with scrap the four-wheel drives, but if we continue doing this for a couple more seasons, I've spoken to Will a couple times about this, he wants to also scrap the rear-wheel drives, and honestly that's not going to be popular. So I'm glad that he's taken the decision to end this format here where it is at a good point.
Yes,
and
definitely.
possibly work on something new for the future.
Yes. I mean, it was also always something like a waiting game. What is coming now? I mean, at least we have now a new Mazda that is
Overpowered.
based. Yeah. Unfortunately, of course, as it is a new car, it's overpowered now. But it's at least moving in the direction we want. I think that the perfect thing Gran Turismo could do, and to be honest, they will never do, is having TCRs. Having a special TCR class with TCR balance, and that's it.
I mean, the closest thing we have to that is the Isle of Man TT, but, you know, even so, that thing's pretty insane compared to what they drive.
Yeah, and then you... And there's, I mean, yeah, of course, there's brands like Seat who have with the Cupra TCR with a brand that is not in the game, but you have Volkswagen, you have Audi, you have Honda, Hyundai. You have all those cars in the game, but or the manufacturers in the game, and don't bring the cars. Instead of you're still racing on a Genesis that isn't actually even built anymore. And I'm pretty sure the Hyundai Genesis was never built as a touring car.
There's a couple in domestic Korean championships.
Oh, you're lying. I will Google that.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple in the Super Race series. That's literally what it's called, Super Race. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they have made a couple souped up Hyundai Genesis.
I might be wrong, but for me it was always the thing like Subaru GT3. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they need to add a lot more real, because I feel like with Group 4 especially, they kind of test the boundaries a bit of what they can do. Like, for example, Honda. Why do we not have a Honda Civic Group 4? Why is it a Honda NSX?
Yes.
It's not realistic.
It's just stupid, yes. Okay, there is an existing Hyundai Genesis touring car, but it doesn't even have a wing, and the rest of the pictures are Gran Turismo in-game pictures.
Look, as long as one exists, that's all Polyphony needs.
So, but we're now in the qualifying. Lucas Mays and Stein van Hart, that Dutch connection. First guys on track.
I think Will Sutters is actually the one out in the lead. The timing board's a bit wrong. Interestingly, it looks like Joe Witt is out in the lead, sorry. Before they need to add more cars, they need to give us more real tracks. Exactly. I'm pretty sure they've got the license to a couple real tracks and real racing leagues. They can, get new content for us, but instead we get an ambulance, so...
Yes, really finally. Oh yeah, you're right. It's Joe Witt, so the championship contenders are P1 and P2 on track.
You know what I'm still waiting for? And correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Polyphony have the license to IndyCar? Or it did have the license to IndyCar at one point?
Well, I'm not sure. At some point I just gave up on Polyphony doing smart stuff.
Yeah, let's not even talk about the Lotus deal. They've had that license to Lotus for years.
It is one of the most beautiful ever existing racing games in the world. So design-wise, Polyphony did an insane job. Dynamic weather is absolutely great with all the puddles and stuff, and it's also working pretty well.
Not at the moment. It's not raining right now, but it could do this evening. Probably not in race 1.
So, but as you have inside information, what is Joe Witt's helmet today?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at it. It's Batman.
Okay.
He is Batman today. I don't know why he's Batman. I don't know. Maybe he feels like the Dark Knight today. But look at him now. He's currently going through the S. Do the S's have a name? Is it the Snake S's? I swear they have a name.
I will Google it. For me, it's just the S's. Suzuka corner names. Please don't give me stupid Japanese names.
I hate to break it to you. If it's a Japanese name, it's not stupid. It's probably because it's a Japanese circuit. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Okay, it's just called the S curves. The last one is Dunlop curve. Then it's. Dagna 2 is not even called Dagna 2 here, so...
I think it's fake sauce. I'm always going to call them the Snake S's. I don't care because they look like a snake. Now, Joe,
yeah,
coming up
okay,
to
now I found
the best
racing
corner.
circuit infos. It's just Snake.
Snake. All right, fair
Yes.
enough.
And the last corner out of the snakes, the right-hander is anti-bank curve. And then Dunlop, Casino Triangle. Oh, they have a brilliant name for the final corner. I guess.
Casio Triangle. Oh no, there's the one after that, isn't it?
Yes.
What's it called?
Last curve.
Oh,
Brilliant.
Really imaginative, that one.
Brilliant. I mean, yeah, the first corner is also a first corner, so.
I just want you to educate me real quick. Well, we just see Joe go through the Casio Triangle. He's about to finish his lap here, holding to the inside, save lap time, it says 7.4.
Pretty much covering that what Will Sutters did before, and Will Sutters 3/10 slower. We know that he can do quicker.
Why is that corner called the Casio Triangle when there's nothing triangular about it? That's always bugged me.
I mean, it is almost 90 degrees both corners.
Surely it's a square.
Yeah, or two triangles.
I don't like this logic.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say anything. Anything would come to my mind. So Ashby also really quick on the Lexus. Short brain leg. And still 2/10 up in Sector 1. So there's an improvement on the line.
It's Ashby's pace since he came back in has been promising. It's been very helpful for 5-on-5 Motorsports, mounting more of a challenge than they were previously in constructors. As he does go purple there, Ashby, going into the hairpin.
Slightly purple, so
could be an outsider for pole. He's been improving quite a lot in pace since he came back.
I mean, I know a really pissed 5-on-5 motorsport chef if Ashby is taking pole on his favorite track. Would be good for the team, but I think Mr. Sutters is too ambitious to give the pole to his teammate.
Could we see Senna and Prost if these two start fighting?
I know a guy called Joe who would really like this. Not purple anymore, but still.
Anything we could see Senna and Prost going into the first corner if this was the final round.
So it's now to the Casio square because Pine wants it as square.
It's a square. It's not a triangle. Deeply offends me. Holds to the inside. It's not enough an improvement to overhaul his teammate.
But we have a very big gap from top 3. I mean, the top 3 are even not what you would call close together in GTRC terms. But then it's also from P3 to P4. 8.5
gaps all round. Top 6 split by 2.3 seconds.
We have Sutters and Ashby close together. Kubinski and Clark then. And almost a second to Mace. Half a second almost to Stein van Hart. 3 seconds to Dougie. Not to Van Hart, to Langstadler, sorry. Switch something.
Van Hart and Winkel haven't set a lap by the looks of it.
Van Hart set a lap, but not a good one.
I mean, unless that's his genuine pace, I'll be very worried if it is his genuine pace.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
But honestly, the two at the moment that are kind of shocking me in this qualifying session are Clark and Kabinski. I expect them to be a bit higher up, but maybe the front three is just very fast and no one can catch them. But I would expect Kabinski and Clark to be higher up, considering the cars that they're in.
Definitely. I thought that this is more a TT and Scirocco track, as they are both pretty solid on top speed and should have better cornering than the Lexus. But currently Ashby and Sutters are proving us wrong.
At the end of the day, though, you could be driving a rocket ship, and would Joe Witt and Will Sutters still be ahead of you? Because it's kind of been like that this season. Oh, there you go. Joe Witt almost gets into the 2 minutes 6. The lap times are getting a lot quicker now.
7/10 to Sutters.
Does Sutters have an answer? I don't think he might have got caught up a little bit there by Kaminsky. There's certainly a switch with those two. You'll never know. He's coming up to the bridge. Is this? He's going purple.
Yes, he is purple.
I just want to point out that bridge. There's not many racetracks where there are bridges. I'm pointing out the weirdest little things about this track. There's not many tracks that there's a bridge.
At least not a bridge, I think, where the track is going, where the track is crossing.
Yes, so where the two tracks cross over each other. I know the Nordschleife has a bridge, as
Yes.
he doesn't beat him.
No, it's Nordschleife has one bridge, but there's not track crossing.
That's a really impressive lap time from Langstadler there, beating out Will Sutters. That was quite a shock lap time there. I wasn't really looking at him.
So currently Team
Clark
Spirit
also
front row lockout.
There you go. This is more the pace I was expecting from Clark. Up to P4 now, 2 minutes 7.7.
Yeah, gaps are getting closer. And I think also Van Aert will set himself a bit under pressure now as he sees the Peugeot is working really well here, and he had absolutely great performances in the past. Was at least always competitive with Langstadler. Purple sector 1 here from Clark. More than a 10th up.
That's interesting. Probably one of the strong sectors for the TT though. He touches the grass there through Degner 1. Just makes the car go sideways. I don't think he would have lost too much time from that, but unsettles the car at the very least.
Definitely enough to not improve on
any
this lap.
advantage he had.
Will Sutters on his outlap.
I reckon Sutters has got more in his locker, if I'm honest. Like, I mean, the gap isn't massive to P2 right now. He can definitely take P2. P1 though, that's a tall order. That's a very strong lap time from Joe.
Yes, and this is something we haven't seen from Sutters in the free practice. Stein van Hart now on his way to improve. Times P5.
This is into the 7s. Something switched on because he was telling me beforehand that he couldn't get any lap time into the 7s.
And Kubinski is now in the front row with the Scirocco.
This is what I was saying. Scirocco and the TT, they need to be further up there. Seeing it now.
Also improvement from Lucas Mays, still on P9.
So it's getting a lot closer now. We saw a couple minutes ago the top 6 was split by like around 2.3 seconds. Now the top 7 is just 8/10.
Spin
So
in the
this is
background
more
from
like it.
Clark. Yes, backed out in the pits. If he now goes on track, it should be enough to set another lap. If he's waiting for
Yep, he'll just about have enough time.
a bit longer, it might be difficult.
I think this is Langstadler going on for a flying lap now as well, so he should be able to get another one after this. But running out of time now.
Yes, Clark still in the pits.
Langstadler's off at turn 1, he's in the pits.
So Langstadler's qualifying is definitely done. Clark's also. There will be no improvement. Currently on Stein van Hart. He will have another lap. Let's see if this one is an improvement. Currently on the way to 130R. Almost 4
23
tenths
tenths
off.
down. I didn't see that if people are taking this flat or not. 130R. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
I think 130i in GR4 is really about the tires in the car. I think even if you wouldn't say because the Lexus is heavy, I think it might be easy on the Lexus or in the BMW.
Oh, that's a really good lap from Kaminski there. But Will Sutton is just going purple, going through 130R.
Bit white here, bit on the AstroTurf.
Looks like he's got quite a nice run there, going through the final corner. Holes to the inside, shave down the time. It's not enough, but he gets back into the top 3. That's an interesting one.
At least the gaps we want to see. I think top 3, top 5, top 4 in half a second. Of course, we had it closer, but Suzuka is a long track.
Not over yet. Witt and Sutters are still on a lap. Witt's actually going over a 10th purple from the sector 1.
Stein van Hart should not improve. Almost 3 tenths down on his PB.
Kaminski's also going slightly purple, but I don't think his tyres are in good enough nick to set a faster lap time.
Let's see what Ashby is doing. Is he able to find an answer? At least he's close to his PB. On the way to the chicane.
If he gets lucky through these final few corners, could be a chance here to maybe take P6, P5.
The gap to Van Hart is not really big. He was about half a tenth down on his PB, crossing the line, improvement, and he's also jumping Clark, P5.
Watch now, Freddie Winkle also going on to the final sector of the lap. Keeping it nice and tidy. We haven't seen many penalties so far. It's a bit of an interesting one.
Definitely, but it's really hard to get them on Suzuka.
Kaminski will find a way.
Definitely. Joe Witt purple.
Apparently Langstadler was also purple on that lap. This could be a 2:06 here.
Possible. No, it won't. No improvement time. Kubinski
Still
sitting on a half-second
Kubinski does have a penalty.
Let's say he had it before. We haven't jinxed it.
Sutters
with the
got
pole. Absolute insane
fast.
final lap. But yeah,
Not into the 2:06s yet, still.
The gap was so big that I really hadn't counted on him. But he proved me wrong. He proved that he's an absolute expert on Suzuka.
Hours and hours of practice does get you pole position. Sorry, we'll stop the practice digs. We've all been there.
So Ashby on P5, Clark P6, Stein van Hart dropped down to P7. Lap times were in the 2:08s, the last 2 flying laps. But you see, yeah, he wasn't in the pits for tires, and tire drop is massive here around the Suzuka. So it would have been a track for the Swift.
Well, Sutters has lagged out by the looks of it.
Yeah, but we know that he was on pole.
I don't remember that.
We have it on stream. Quickly delete the VOD.
Delete the stream, it was never here.
So yeah, that's not just a pole for Will Sutters, it's also a big advantage, especially on the start. Because with his good start, he should be able to stay out of every trouble that possibly can happen in Suzuka Turn 1.
Well, unless Joe's the one who wants to make the trouble.
Yeah, but I think Joe don't have the acceleration to
True.
make the big trouble. And that's also really important because one thing that is really annoying is the first couple of laps at Suzuka when you're in the traffic through the snake.
Lucas, you take that back. The Hyundai is a wonderful car.
The Hyundai is a championship winner. To violate you with messages. Send yet, but you will get it.
Oh, am I getting your grid picks?
Yes.
What, you want me on top?
So unfortunately the results are even showing Will Sutters on top, so we can't deny that he gets the pole. There will also be a really interesting fight for the championship. Will Sutters, of course, wants to outscore Joe Witt. I think in race 1 he should have good chances. I mean, their paces were pretty similar on the fastest lap. Both cars should be pretty similar on tires, I would say. I think the Lexus is probably the worst rear-wheel drive car on tires.
I think the only thing that Joe's got is it looked like for Will it took him quite a while to get that car fired up around here. So yes, he's going to lose out massively on the start with the launch, but maybe that Peugeot just gets the heat into the tyres a bit quicker, gets everything warmed up, and he can put the foot down a bit faster than Will.
Yeah,
can.
Joe looked
that.
much more consistent on the top times. He was in every lap really close to his PB, or in most of the laps, while Will Sutters just improved about 3/10 from his second fastest to fastest lap. So that's quite a big gap.
I mean, if he keeps doing that every single lap, then what, he'd be setting 2-minute 5s by the end of the race. So
yes, but I think there's a natural border even for the Lexus and Sutters.
No. Don't be silly. Just cut the corners. It'll be fine.
Grid is in order. I will go down to P5 to Ashby because he might be the first guy to really jump some cars at the start here. Oh, jump start here from Winkle, yes.
Kavinsky's got a really poor start there. Joe's just about managing to hold on.
It stays on P2, Sutters on P1, Kubinski attacking there. Ashby, taking back third position. Feisty Ashby is running wide.
Looks like Langstadter's probably lost out the most out of everyone in that top 4. Well, yeah, lost out a position, but he is gaining it back here.
Big oversteer here from Lucas Mays, who now...
It's 3 wide going through whatever this corner is.
Yeah, there's Langstadter, Mays and Ashby, who are having really much contact.
Yeah, it looks close to what could have been quite a harsh crash, but they've all managed to get out unscathed by the looks of it. Yes. Lucas Mays actually has made the most out of that rear-wheel drive start, come to P5. Started 9th, I think.
A spin here from Dougie and Dagner too. Haven't seen any contact here. And yeah, those shenanigans in the snake section between Langstadler, Mace and Ashby. Gave Kubinski, Witt and Sutters the chance to escape already 2.5 seconds. Now Langstadler is trying to lose the chasing group.
Will Sutters isn't really making a gap to Joe Witt at the moment. As we kind of discussed, it looks like Witt's got that car fired up a lot quicker, but more interestingly, Kubinski's managed to hold with him. So maybe a three-way fight for the lead here. Not as polarising as the two fast guys at front that we've been seeing in this championship.
Yes, it would be great if Kubinski can manage to stay on the rear. It's also great to see 3 manufacturers in top 3.
He might have got a pen there. He's okay this time.
Yeah. So lap 1 is done. P1, 2 and 3 are in about 6/10.
Sutters already going defensive. There's a small bump there from behind. Sutters went very defensive. And looks like Joe's lost out quite a bit of time through that move. I'm not really too sure where Joe's going to want to make the move here. I don't think turn 1's a very good place to overtake.
No, definitely not. I don't know how good the brakes on the RZZ are, but in slipstream the Peugeot might have enough overspeed on acceleration against the heavy Lexus. The hairpin maybe. Dougie is out.
130R would be pretty crazy, but
130. You cannot overtake in 130R.
I'll tell that to Fernando Alonso.
It's
Kubinski going for the move there.
That's the move
Very
I predicted.
late move.
That's the move I predicted.
He's got nothing to lose here, so he goes for the dive bomb. But does Kubinski have the minerals to catch up to Will Sutters?
Yeah, that will be interesting, because if Joe Witt is now losing time behind Kubinski,
he's already looking quite caught up, especially for a spoon. Looks like Kubinski probably didn't take the ideal line through there. I'm sure Witt's probably thinking about that Fernando Alonso overtake as he comes up to 130R.
Scirocco is definitely quick enough to stay in range on slipstream against the Lexus.
Sutters quite quickly. There's contact there. Seems like he had a very good run through the corner there.
Will we see another turn 1 move here?
Could be 3 wide into turn 1 if things go right. I did say, Jake, that he doesn't have the minerals, but at the moment it does look like he might have the minerals. 2 wide as Kubinski goes to the outside. Is it going to be 3? Witt thinks about
having
it.
a look in the middle, but not going
Thinks
for the
wiser. It's all died down yet again. All of this, though, I'm sure Langstadler will be pleased to see. He might have the opportunity to catch him, but doesn't look like he has been.
Chasing group of kind of the Dutch group.
He's lost the Dutch contingent.
Some contact between Ashby and Stein van Hart, as we saw the nice message in the chat.
He was just saying thanks for having such a wonderful battle.
Yes, but it's still in the rules that you don't have to type in the in-game chat during the race.
Again, looks like Kubinski's just dropping back that little bit from Sutters.
Yeah, but it's
Joe's all over the back of him.
Only sector 2. I mean, it is not good for Kubinski because this was his attacking point against Joe Witt.
It's really the best corner on the track to overtake, if you ask me. If you can get a run into that hairpin, there's no way they can really fight against you.
You just need to have a perfect exit out of Degner 2.
I think Degner 2 is the easier of the 2 Degners. I hate Degner 1 because of that curve on the inside.
I hate every single corner in Suzuka.
Again, doesn't quite look like Dom's close enough here. He will get even more of a slipstream coming up to the Casio Triangle. So might have to wait again until turn 1. Again, Casio Triangle's a very good corner for overtaking, unless your name's Ayrton Senna.
think we might see the first pit stops in the next lap. We haven't seen anyone on the undercut so far.
Oh, if anyone's going to try it, it'll probably be Langstadler, realistically. It doesn't go in this time. He's got the most to gain out of pitting.
I mean, he has currently clean air, and I think in the end it's better to have 6-lap-old tires.
That was an interesting one. It looked like Kabinski bumped Will Sutters there. So it doesn't look like Dominik Kabinski's trying to fight Sutters at the moment.
Sutters slightly better on fuel. Same level as Joe Witt, so Witt might gain this position in the pits against Kabinski.
Yeah, Witt's probably begging he's got clean air here, because I don't think this is benefiting him much being stuck behind Kabinski. Witt seems like he has a lot more pace than him.
Yeah, but Kabinski sitting on the fastest lap, of course, benefited from Sutter's slipstream. And he's on the last lap, he was not instant on his bumper. There was always something like a half a second gap. But Langstadler is not gaining enough. Gap to the top 3 is still 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Langstadler going wide there again, out of spoon. I mean, I said that Van Hart obviously was complaining to me about struggles with the track, but we've seen this more and more often with Langstadler. He sets in a really good qualifying lap and then just goes backwards during the race. But he's still kept that P4, gets qualified in. He's very fortunate that Lucas Mays is defending like a lion for him behind.
So
Kabinski's had a really poor run out of Casio, and Kabinski's gone into the pits there.
Witt and Sutter staying out for one more lap.
This is what Witt would have wanted, though, because now it's just him and Sutters to sort things out to themselves.
Also
already
Mays and
much
Ashby
closer
in
to
the pits.
Sutters.
P4 and 5 at the moment for Clark and Winkle. The FR guys slightly struggling here around Suzuka.
Yes, Jake, you should have been racing, but now you're not. And you're letting this happen. If you know what I mean when I say that. Again, dropping back through the S's as you kind of expect from the Peugeot. Those front tyres on the Peugeot look shot compared to the Lexus in front. In fact, Langstadler's got slightly worse tyres also.
Front right looks pretty much the same. Front left looks a bit better on Sutter's car.
But I'm sure Joe's going to be looking behind him. He's going to be thinking, why isn't my teammate here to help me? You know, he's going to be wanting a rear gunner, especially since they're having to deal with Kabinski as well. So maybe not the best for Joe here. He's quite a cool driver, quite cool, calm, collected. He's probably not thinking too much about it. But it's one of those things. Currently not in the slipstream of Sutters here.
Yeah, Sutters seems to be quicker at the moment.
You'd expect that at that later stage of the stint, though. Sutters, it looks like he tends to have a tiny bit better tyre wear than Witt. And later on in the stint, the Lexus does get quite good, especially on the lower fuel loads. Sorry, yeah. Witt saved an extra litre, so I mean, a litre's not much, but at the end of the day, that could be crucial to them two fighting.
Yeah, it is. What is the refueling speed?
Times
I think 4 liters per second. So 1 liter is 0.25. Gaining or losing it in the pits is quite a lot.
You'd imagine he's also going to take slightly less fuel than him, which he has by 2 liters. So Joe has gained quite a bit out of these pit stops. Joe is right on Will Suss's chuff, and in fact, Kubinski is really far back after this. He might have to worry about Langstadler if he's not careful. Not sure what Kubinski hasn't changed for tyres.
Yes, what is probably a really poor decision, and it also looks that he
might have had some kind of mistake or a penalty or something.
Much more fuel.
Oh, he has. It's an interesting call from Kubinski there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it will work out.
Won't work till the end. Langstadler is too quick. Fresh tires.
Yeah, so he'll definitely have to worry about Langstadler there, and at the end of the race, probably even Clark and Winkel, two FR drivers.
There must have been a mistake from Kubinski, because tire changing usually saves you 6 seconds.
Yeah, there's no way you look at this circuit, you don't have to be a genius. You take one look at the track layout of this circuit and think, do I need to change tyres? I mean, how many corners are there? Get close to 20 corners around it.
Yeah, and they're really annoying corners, because
abrasive.
Especially the S's, all the mid-speed, good floating corners are really tough on the tires. I think something like the Casio Square, sorry, is not that rough on the tires, like for example 130R or Spoon.
That was wide from Will Suss's through 130R, so Joe is right on the back of him going into the Casio Square triangle. It's already hitting the rear bumper going out the exit through the final curve, whatever you said this was the last curve. Yeah, which is a really good corner name.
It is so dumb, because the last curve is last curve and the first one is first corner. I don't know what's the difference in England between corner and curve is, but in Germany it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same here. Curve and corner are the exact same thing. Yeah. But Witt couldn't get the move there, forced to the outside through turn 1, and then turn 2, which is essentially the extension of turn 1, just had to back out. I think they've renamed turn 2 or something, or they did for the Formula 1, they called it like Buzzin' Bees Corner, because Sebastian Vettel built a bunch of beehives. As you do. See,
it's
we
really
talk
important
about
for Joe Witt to stay really close to Sutters into the Dagners here.
Kavinsky's made a big mistake. He had an off at the exit of the Snake S's, so it's be Langstadler looking to make a move soon.
He's not close enough to go for a move in the hairpin, no.
Yeah, I joke about quite frequently the fall of grace that me and you have had going from drivers to commentators, but poor Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion, now builds beehives.
Yes.
Whatever makes him happy. Going side by side into Spoon. Again, Joe Witt on the outside, but he looks for the cutback. The gap's there, but Sutters moves to the inside, covers it right well. Sutters side... why is he sideways through there? Sutters looks all over the place here, under all kinds of pressure from Joe Witt.
Two big fights here for the podium, one between Sutters and Witt, and the other one between Kubinski and Langstadler. I think Langstadler, I mean, of course he don't know that Kubinski is on the old tires. In the end, he
probably
just need to have a bit patience. Then he will benefit from the mistakes and the lines Kubinski will have to drive.
I think the moment Langstadler gets past Kubinski, he's going to have that moment of realisation that Kubinski's not going to come back at him the whole time while he's ahead of him.
I think for Kubinski the smarter move would be, because there's absolutely no chance to defend that position until the end, to let Langstadler go and try to benefit from his slipstream, because Clark, it's only 3 laps, but the tires are not getting better. So these 4 seconds can be easy lost, especially if you're consistently fighting.
Yeah, Langstadler must be realising through these S's that something is wrong, because the pace difference between these two, especially for a corner like that, is incredible.
So after the pit stop, Langstadler is on P9. I have no clue what happened there. His in lap was absolutely horrible, 12 seconds slower than everything else. Lucas Mays on P8. Freddie Winkle
Watch out for
P7.
Langstadler here, he might make the dive bomb.
Ashby back from P9 to P6. Clark on
Doesn't feel
P5.
like it this time around. The gap's increased again between the top two. It's around half a second, but you see every time through as they go through Spoon Corner, Joe just gains that little bit on Sutters, and that's enough really to catch him through the straights going up to 130R. And I say that as Will Sutters has made a gap to Joe Witt through Spoon for the first time I've seen that.
Yeah, but he's instant gaining in slipstream.
Yeah, that Peugeot has so much of an advantage even without slipstream, let alone with it. And we might see the same here with Langstadler and Kubinski. Langstadler now 2 tenths behind him going into 130R. He might be able to make the move into the upcoming chicane. Or he'll be patient, wait for turn 1. He looks to the inside.
He's going for it.
Putting the brake balance all the way to the front. Getting very late on the
that
braking.
rubber, no chance to counter for Kubinski.
Yeah, Kubinski's going to have to sit back and hope that he can hold P4 for long enough.
Yes, because Clark is inside, less than 3 seconds.
All Clark needs to do is just 2 perfect laps here, and he's probably got Kubinski under wraps, because Kubinski 2 2-minute 10s in a row. You know, that's kind of the pace. It's going to get slower, really. Doesn't go up from here for Dominik Kubinski.
Already out of slipstream range.
It's all died down a little bit. There's not much going on right now. Seems like every time Joe Witt catches up to Will Sutters, he either doesn't really have the gap to make the move, or Sutters just gaps him in the next corner. You know, as I was talking about during qualifying, there's such a difference between the cars and the lines that they take, that you see the cars have different strengths around different parts of the circuit. And I don't think really race pace that's been benefiting Joe Witt too much, because it seems Sutters is quick in all the places where Joe Witt should be quick to make that overtake. But again, much closer to Sutters this time around going through Spoon. That looks like
so Langstadler now secured on P3. Less than 2 seconds now between Clark and Kubinski. But the fight for P1 is not getting cold here tonight.
It's getting closer again. It looks like Joe Witt might have almost got a bit caught out there, but what seems to be happening is Will Sutters is going through that corner purposefully slow, just so Joe Witt doesn't get a run. Because it just looks like he's holding him up. We're on to the final lap now, side by side going to turn 1, but again Joe Witt to the outside. He's going to have to try some kind of switcheroo, but the thing is with battling Will, he knows what Joe's going to try and do. He tries the switcheroo, Will's going to park it on the inside, he tries to hold it around the outside, and Will just shove him wide, and you see that Joe Witt just had to pull out there. I don't see any position change happening, if I'm honest.
No, not really.
I think these will be the positions the race will end in.
The only thing
positive for Will
could be just an insane lunge at the final chicane.
I mean, with a gap of almost 7 seconds behind, you know, what have you got to lose if you're Joe? He's been close enough every single time at the chicane.
Yeah, I mean,
you might as well go for it.
If it goes wrong, it's a big penalty, and the guys behind that, I mean, he would drop down to P5, P6 maybe, if he would do something really stupid. And this is a lot more championship points than just dealing with being second.
Well, I'm not saying he should dive bomb him. I'm just, you know, he's been close enough the past few rounds that he probably could make a big lunge, but it would inevitably cost him.
Think smarter, have the mentality of the championship leader and say, Yeah, Sutters. As long as I have to do my math, but I think as long as Witt is finishing immediately one position behind Sutters, Sutters can do whatever he wants and won't win the championship.
This is why practicing is boring, Witchell. Because you get results like this. Yeah, I think Witt's probably thinking to himself, he's thinking he's going to be, starting ahead of Sutters for the second race. It's a rolling start. All he has to do is just keep Sutters behind him, really.
Yes. Sutters is winning this race. Joe Witt, P2. Langstadler, brilliant race, really patient. Clark, P4, what we expected. And Kubinski finishing with a 1/2 second penalty. Might have picked it up in the final chicane. I mean, his tires are really fucked. Ashby P6 after the lap 1 incident. I think good recovery for him.
And then it's the 3 Dutchmen at the back in Winkel, Van Hart and Mays.
So yeah, very interesting race here. I think we might have missed some fights in the midfield.
Yeah.
But the front runners delivered us.
That go as high up as mine and Jake Witchell's strategy from a couple of seasons ago.
I think he still finished P5 in the end.
Yeah, we did not finish top 5.
But really interesting to see is what we get now from the weather, because after the reset, of course the weather settings will be resetted, and if there's no rain here at Suzuka, we will have guaranteed one wet race at Autopolis next week.
I'm expecting a monsoon at Autopolis, not just wet. I want it thundering.
Yeah, I will test something.
Track needs to be a swimming pool.
We'll do something that is at least close to realistic.
Needs to rain.
Yeah, it won't be. Can I stay on dry or should I go intermediate conditions?
Well, it's not going to thunder it down for about 2 minutes, and you know that you should probably put on the wet tyres, but it's going to dry up in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think we had this kind of situation in the Alphas at the Nordschleife, where we had this insane green, yellow, dark purple 1 centimeter strip of rain that washed the track for a second, and on the same lap it was still dry.
I feel quite stupid in saying this, and I felt quite stupid at the time, and I said this to Ruben after the race, but that race made me discover that the Alpha 155 has all-wheel drive. I did not realise that before that round. We'd been driving that car for an entire season, and I hadn't realised it had all-wheel drive.
Really? It was quite funny because I was in the party with Ruben, and it was the decision for the for the team championship. It wasn't really a decision because of the low entries of the final result. It was just not having a disconnect, and we should be fine. But for Ruben, it was. I think he was quite secured drivers champion, but he hadn't win a race of the season, and he was like, "Oh, come on, I can't win a championship without winning a single race." And we saw this rain, and I just zoomed, and I said, yeah, okay, it's 1 centimeter. It might get dry on the same lap. It's really weird settings and stuff. And then Ruben was like, yeah, come on, I will stay out. This car has a fucking 4-wheel drive.
I beg your pardon, by the way, no championship battle. I'll have you know, me and Ruben had a very close fight, and I finished a respectable second, about 50 points behind him.
Yes.
Which
I mean,
also
you had
happens in WTCC.
You had a great battle for the majority, but I think there was one race where it didn't went that good for you.
I had a couple stinkers.
And it was like the team championship was still something that was on the line because obviously Sutters and Holland was the stronger lineup than Ruben and poor slow stinker sick.
Yeah, but we didn't exist until what, round 2, round 3?
I think the Motorex and the purple pink major black Team Spirit car fusioned in race 3.
Oh, hold on, if you want to spectate me real quickly, I was just driving this car already. You mean this one?
Yes, but you're missing the Motorex. The Motorex
Missing the Motorex.
Came with Sutters. I don't know if it replaced the Warsteiner.
It did replace the Warsteiner. And it changed the colours.
But what I really liked, and I think this is the only thing that just 2 teams ran it, was the original DTM number plate from that era. I think all other cars were not on the maybe Sutters Motorex car as well. I mean, he's really looking at those things.
The thing is with this car, and I was berated quite heavily by another German person I know called Nico. He took one look at this livery and he said, "Why is it pink? A Warsteiner livery should not be pink. How dare you?"
Yeah.
Everyone's asking for interviews. We could do. Only reason I did them last week is because it was just me.
Let's do it after the race, I think.
We'll do it after race 2. Sounds good.
This race was not spicy enough to get us interview stuff. We want gossip.
Well, I mean, no, the only thing we could say is bring in Dom and say, "Hi, why were you stupid? Why didn't you put on new tyres?"
Hey Dom, where you find a way to get a penalty around here?
Yeah, we'll just have to wait until race 2. Is there anything really that can be decided? I guess the constructors could get decided today, but I cannot be bothered to do the maths.
I will
just kind of guess.
quickly do a raw math. But as 515 Motorsport has 2 cars in the grid,
it's not as easy to say. Ashby came quite far back. I don't think they would have won it after this race, but next race there's possibly a chance.
I mean,
100 points per round, right?
Spirit should have outscored 515 Motorsport, and I would say that if Team Spirit is starting next week with 2 cars,
just score points.
should be enough to force the decision.
Yeah, it's a shame Sutters found it so difficult to find a teammate at the start of the season, because him with an Ashby has been quite a strong driver lineup, so would have been a much more interesting battle for the constructors.
Definitely, and definitely both Ashby picked up a penalty 2 rounds ago that cost him a lot of points. Sutters had his massive penalty with the qualifying, and both cars had the qualifying ban. Would also might have cost them some points. So without that penalties, I think Sutters would be closer to wit than he already is. Maybe he would even be in the lead at the moment.
He'd be a lot closer if you remember he got a 30-second penalty at Road Atlanta.
Yes.
But that's just part of the game. You drive bad, you get punished for it.
Definitely.
That's brutal, but true.
Yeah, I mean, it was avoidable to get this penalty. Lucas Mays, instant going to the inside line, covering possible attacks.
Leading out the front 3. We haven't really done the predictions. Who do you think's going to benefit the most out of this reverse grid race?
Yeah, I could now say, I will wait for my prediction after the SS. Okay. I would have said Joe Witt because he had a really good start and passed Langstadler immediately, but also Sutters did it.
I have a feeling Langstadler let him through.
Maybe. I think
they were discussing it the other day.
Kubinski could be the guy to watch. I mean, he should have learned about the possible pit strategy.
I reckon it's more on Ashby, if I'm honest. I think we say every week when we see Kubinski starting quite high up in the reverse grid, we say, oh, well, he shouldn't be there, he should get the reverse grid win. And granted, he probably should have got it at Catalonia if it wasn't for Jake Witchell racing. But I don't know. Ashby looks like he has a lot better race pace, and he got quite caught out in the last race with an incident. So for me, Ashby's the favourite.
I mean, it's still not a big disadvantage for the previous winners, because we have a quite short grid with 9 cars, so the way from the back to the front is not that long as usual. Stein van Hart still in the lead. Freddie Winkle in P2, Ashby already on P3, Kubinski P4. Mace dropped down a bit.
Still side by side, Ashby's going to have to back out, but he's braving it around the outside, and he does get the move done there. Respectful drive from the both of them.
Winkle was a bit close to the inside, and I think lost a bit of momentum on the AstroTurf. Also, Kubinski might benefit from. Oh, 3 wide. Joe Witt is now getting into this fight.
Joe Witt's going to make the most out of it as well. He's the closest to the inside.
Oh, screaming tires, and it is Lucas Mace off in turn 1. Side-by-side racing between Kubinski and Joe Witt.
Lucas Mace is gone. Yeah, at Spoon, it looked like he got quite caught up there with the other 2 Dutchmen. There was a bit of contact. Mace got pushed out into the Astro, and it's all kind of gone tits up for him after that. So, not the best start for him.
Kubinski currently in the FR sandwich.
Witt's had a very good start there. You made that early prediction quite well.
And Sutters is currently a bit stuck. Oh, Kubinski is not around.
He's held it.
But losing a lot of speed.
Yeah, you'll have dirty tyres now as well. So
and also Clark was affected from the incident. Clark dropped down to P8. And this brought Sutters in a good position. It gave him 3 free position gains. So now between him and Joe Witt, there's only 1.7 seconds and Freddie Winkle.
Still not perfect for Sutters though. He'll want to be out ahead as he has been for pretty much the majority of this season. But it's all resting on his teammates' shoulders at the moment.
Is now trying to move around Ashby. And believe me, Ashby can become the widest fucking Lexus in the world.
Yeah, Ashby hasn't really caught up to Van Hart as quick as I thought he would. I think the gap's actually increased between the 2 this lap. So, Joe Witt's going to want to make light work of him quite soon. Looks like he is. He's already going to the inside there. I don't think Ashby's going to fight this too much.
Missing the chance to cover the inside.
But smart from Ashby there, not really fighting it too much. It's only lap 3 at the end of the day. He'll get the chance later on in the race if he just sticks with Witt. Kind of surprised tonight. Racing hasn't exactly been stunning. It's been the GTRC train tonight, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it is Suzuka. I mean, if you're not doing something insane stupid, this is a track where you cannot really overtake, and all the cars who are racing tonight are really solid on top speed. I think there's no BMW tonight. That would be
Swift.
Yeah, or the Swift, that could be an easy meal on the straight lines.
I think it's fair to say, though, I want to hear your opinion on this, actually. What is the best Japanese racetrack?
IRL or in the game?
Don't say Kyoto.
No, I won't
Your
say
mind is
Kyoto.
not going there.
Kyoto is ass.
It's so ass.
At least Yamagiwa.
What? Let's just say in the game.
In the game, it's obviously high-speed ring.
Fair enough. Joe Witt, we saw there, just made the move for P1. Stein went slightly wide out of 130R. Easy move for him, textbook, and really no issues here. Didn't lose any time out of it, and I think it's his race to lose at this point. 2.3 seconds between him and Sutters.
Yeah. And also 3 cars. So one of them with Ashby might not go that defensive if Sutters.
Whoa!
I think something is crashing. No, it's
everyone's
whole lobby should be disconnecting now. So far it's 2 cars. Yeah, no, everything is collapsing. Welcome back. So, slight lobby issues. We're gonna fix that soon. I'm currently looking for the grid after lap 2. Okay, it seems to be a PSN issue. So we're gonna wait for the confirmation, but I would suggest to just postpone this race from now and do it at the final, so we would get a really big final. It seems that there are bigger issues on PSN. So I will release you through the night. Thank you for watching. We'll see each other next week. Hopefully without any PSN issues. And with 2 and 80% of a race. So let's see us there for the big finale of GTRC WTCC Season 11.